Imagine holding a photograph of your childhood home in a city that officially never existed. Imagine looking at a satellite map of the world and seeing nothing but a vast empty forest where you distinctly remember the streets, the shops, and the faces of 5,000 people. This is the terrifying reality of the ghost sector, a place that has been surgically removed from the collective memory of the modern world. Before we begin our investigation into this erased reality, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Global Mysteries HQ, and share this story with those who believe that history cannot be edited. The story of the ghost sector began with a man named David Miller, a cartographer who spent his life studying the shifting borders of Eastern Europe and Central Asia. In 1998, while cross-referencing a series of vintage 1970s Soviet topographic maps with modern digital satellite imagery, David noticed a glaring impossibility. On the old paper maps, there was a thriving industrial hub named Krasnov 22, nestled in a valley near the Ural Mountains. It had a railway station, a hospital, and a specialized research university. But on every modern digital map, including the most classified government databases, the valley was depicted as a pristine, untouched wilderness. There were no ruins, no roads, and no evidence that a single brick had ever been laid there. David initially assumed it was a simple naming error or a classified military base that had been decommissioned. But his curiosity turned into an obsession when he tried to find the people who lived there. He searched birth registries, marriage certificates, and death records for any mention of Krasnov 22 and found absolutely nothing. It was as if the city and its entire population had been fed into a digital shredder. When he posted his findings on a private forum for retired intelligence officers, he received a single anonymous message that changed everything. The message simply said that some things are not lost, they are deleted. This led David to track down a woman named Elena who lived in a small village 300 miles away from the blank spot on the map. Elena was an old woman who suffered from what her doctors called shared delusional disorder. She claimed that she had grown up in a beautiful city, with white stone buildings and a clock tower that chimed every hour. She described her neighbors the smell of the local bakery and the specific way the fog would roll off the mountains in the autumn. But when she tried to show her children where she came from, they laughed and showed her the empty green space on Google Earth. Elena was not crazy. She was a survivor of the ghost sector. Elena told David that in the summer of 1984, the city was placed under a total communications blackout. The trains stopped running, and the phone lines went dead. Men in gray suits, who carried no identification, went door to door, collecting every scrap of paper that bore the city's name. They took family photo albums, school yearbooks, and even the labels off of canned goods produced in the local factory. People were told they were being relocated for their own safety due to a chemical leak, but they were never moved together. They were scattered across the continent, given new identities, and warned that speaking of their former life would be treated as an act of treason against the state. As David dug deeper, he realized that the deletion of Krasnov 22 was not an isolated incident. He discovered similar gaps in the maps of South America and North Africa. These were not just secret bases, but entire communities that had been deemed inconvenient by the powers that manage our reality. The ghost sector represents a new kind of warfare, where the objective is not to destroy an enemy, but to convince the world they never existed in the first place. The digital age has made this easier than ever. With a few keystrokes, a government can update every map and every database in the world, ensuring that the next generation will never even know to ask the question. The psychological impact on survivors like Elena is devastating. To have your entire history erased is a form of spiritual execution. When there is no physical evidence of your past, your own mind begins to betray you. You start to wonder if your mother's face was real, or if the city you loved was just a dream you had as a child. This is the ultimate goal of the Ghost Sector Protocol, which is to create a population with no roots and no memory. A person without a past is a person who can be easily controlled because they have no foundation to stand on. During his investigation, David managed to obtain a leaked satellite image from a private company that had suffered a server glitch. For a fraction of a second, the digital filter that masks the ghost sector failed. In that single frame, David saw the truth. Hidden beneath the fake digital forest were the skeletal remains of a city. The buildings were still there, but they were covered in a specialized camouflage netting that absorbed radar and distorted light. The city hadn't been demolished. It had been hidden in plain sight. It was a tomb for 5,000 souls who were still being monitored by automated systems to ensure no one ever returned. The reasons for the deletion of Krasnov 22 remain a subject of intense conspiracy theories. Some say the city was the site of a failed experiment in mass mind control that went horribly wrong. Others believe the inhabitants discovered something in the mountains that the world was not ready to see. Whatever the reason, the result was the same. A thriving community was turned into a ghost, and the world moved on without a second thought. This suggests that our reality is far more fragile than we care to admit. We rely on our devices and our maps to tell us what is real, but those systems are owned and operated by entities with their own agendas. The story of the ghost sector is a warning about the era of information. We believe that we live in a time of total transparency where everything is recorded and nothing is lost, but the opposite is true. We live in a time where the truth can be edited in real time. If a city can be deleted from every map and every record, what else has been taken from us? What parts of our own history have been scrubbed because they didn't fit the narrative of those in power? We are all living on the edge of the ghost sector, and any one of us could be the next to be erased. David Miller disappeared shortly after sharing his final report with a small group of journalists. His website was taken down, his bank accounts were frozen, and his own name began to vanish from public records. It is a chilling irony that the man who spent his life finding missing cities became a missing person himself. Perhaps he found a way into the ghost sector, or perhaps he became a part of it. The truth is hidden in the blank spaces of the map, waiting for someone else with the courage to look beyond the digital curtain. As we conclude this investigation, we must look at our own maps with a new sense of skepticism. The world is not always as it appears, and the silence of a forest may be hiding the screams of a forgotten city. We must hold on to our memories and our physical records, because they are the only things that cannot be deleted with a single click. The ghost sector is a dark reminder that our existence is only as real as the records we leave behind, and those records are more vulnerable than we ever imagined. The mystery of the deleted cities challenges us to be the guardians of our own reality. It asks us to trust our eyes and our hearts more than our screens. If you have ever felt like something was missing from the world, or if you remember a place that no one else seems to know, you might have caught a glimpse of the ghost sector. Never stop asking questions, and never let them tell you that what you remember isn't real. If this journey into the erased corners of our world has moved you, please like this video and subscribe to Global Mysteries HQ for more cinematic explorations into the world's most guarded secrets. Share this video to ensure that the stories of places like Krasnov 22 are never truly forgotten. Your engagement helps us keep the light of truth burning in a world that is increasingly comfortable with the dark. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember that the truth is often found in the places they tell us not to look. Thank you for watching.